Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Right, I'm going to quickly go over the review and recap of what just happened, which was the UFC Stockholm card. It was a card that wasn't a massive stacked card with superstars as we know it, as previous cards this year, but I tell you what, it turned out to be one of the most entertaining cards this year. Absolutely great performances from a lot of the fighters. Let's go down to the bottom and we'll work our way up to the main event. And the first fight you had on the card, which was Hermansson against Marcin Held, and it was a fight for the pair of them really to really kind of get that first win in the UFC and stamp their mark. And to be honest with you, Marcin Held did really well in the game. You know, when he got the top position over Hermansson, controlled the game, really put it to Demir, and Demir was just not able to get that get out of those kind of half guards and side controls and mounts, etc. But when Demir's on top, he's very dangerous himself. It was just a case of Marcin was able to hold him off. But then the third round came, and Marcin showed previously he was going for those early takedowns, wanting to get Demir down because he was Demir showed that he had the better striking at the very early round, at the very start, the very first, sorry. So Hermansson timed this beautiful knee, which actually Marcin Held was going for in an army roll, which leads you into a knee bar. So you kind of you roll down your shoulder, you grab the heel, and you'll end up putting your hips over the knee, and you end up kind of going to like I say knee bar, heel hook. There's a couple of submission grappling moments for you there, but there was this beautifully timed knee from Hermansson that just clipped Marcin and put him to sleep. Absolutely fantastic. So Demir gets his first win. Now Marcin Held, he had a tough road coming into the UFC with like Joe Lozon, and a couple of he was 0-2, now he's 0-3. It would be a shame to really let him go, because I think if you can match him up well enough, I think he can show a lot of potential for this UFC kind of roster. Also on the card, then you had in the prelims, which was Darren Till against Jason Ayari. Now, the fight itself, I predicted I kind of thought that I would see Darren Till get the finish here, and Ayari, just because of his kind of defensive, kind of almost Wonder Boy style taekwondo, wide base, stepping back, lunging in strikes, it kind of opened it up for Darren Till for the counters, and it did. It worked really well. Darren Till was getting off those left straights in a southpaw position, getting right down the pipe and tagging Ayari, and at the end of the fight, really, it was a decision win for Darren Till, but he showed maturity. He didn't chase after too much. There was a couple of times when he knocked down Jason and got into guard, and Jason showed his offense off his back when he was a bit on Queer Street with armbar attempts, triangles, etc. Until was able to fend him off. So, and then Darren started to get his head around it and just wasn't going rushing in, which showed a lot of that fighter IQ really there. But I think now next time Darren Till will be a good name in the welterweight division, because he just showed a lot of promise. Hopefully this time around, he missed weight first time in his career. To be fair, he did come over a bit heavy. Hopefully he'll be able to address that issue and come in a lot lighter, and maybe might fight Fight Night card in Brazil for him, which might suit him a bit better. Anyway, so we're going to go up to the next fight on the card, which was Bojan Velickovic against Nico Musoki. And I'll be honest, I picked Nico for that fight early on when I heard the announcement. But and he was, be honest with you, he was definitely, in my opinion, winning that fight. You know, I said before, Nico is not one of those guys who's super flash, super like technical in the sense of he is very technical. What I mean is he's not very he doesn't do spontaneous stuff. He will stick to bread and butter, doesn't do too much out of the ordinary, and he will get the win. And he was just doing what he needed to. Bojan was come out with these crazy little moves, but one-off shots that weren't landed. He got an absolute stonker of a right hand to Nico, and Nico started doing the chicken dance. Telling you now, people, if you haven't seen it, it's out there. Okay, you saw Nico just get wobbled, and then down he went, TKO finish. It was good win for Bojan. Showed his, he's able to mix it up with some of the stronger fighters in the division. Now Nico, to be fair, had been out for a little while of injury, but I think Nico will come back definitely in the UFC. I'd be silly of them to let him go. He's definitely one of them ones who can really test a lot of the guys in the welterweight division. And for Bojan, he's a young lad. He's still growing. He's still developing. I'm looking forward to seeing how he comes back from this, and as a mature fighter with a fight like that, because it was really testing for him, and it really showed his his kind of heart to keep going, to keep pressing for that win. Next up after that was a fight that kind of got everyone spurred on from the weigh-ins. If you hadn't seen it already, go on to the UFC Facebook page, I imagine, or even Twitter page. There'll be a video clip somewhere of it. Reza Medadi standing kind of weigh in, tense, flared up. Got Joaquin Silva kind of psyched out a little bit maybe, but in the fight itself, you saw a fight of tremendous heart from Medadi, stepping in 1 week's notice against a guy who had a full fight camp in Silva. And Silva showed, I feel, in the fight, definitely showed a little bit more of a crisper striking. Definitely showed just a little bit more than Medadi, and both of them were exhausted by the end of the fight. Exhausted. They put everything out there. Like, that was potentially fight of the night straight away early on in the fight card. You saw Medadi get cracked a couple of times. Silva, for him, that's the kind of fight he needed against Medadi. Someone who's really tough, very knowledgeable, strong wrestler. He got Silva down a couple of times, and Silva wasn't able to do much, and it really will help Silva, tighten up his game. It's the kind of fight he needs. I got a lot of potential for Silva. I think he's got a very good future for him in the UFC. But yeah, split decision for Silva, which was not the right decision. It should have been a unanimous, but whatever. I'm not a judge. Next up was a fight on the card, Trevor Smith, Chris Camozzi. It was a fight nobody was really that excited about, if I'm honest. And to be fair, it turned out to be exactly what it was. Not an exciting fight. It was literally Trevor Smith using his wrestling to get on top of Chris Camozzi, and that was it. Bit of ground and pound. Chris Camozzi just wasn't doing much on the offensive. It was a pretty awful fight, to be fair. It was 15 minutes, no one's going to get back. I made a cup of tea during the fight. It was pretty shocking. That's all we're going to do on that one. That is all we're going to talk about. So decision win, Trevor Smith. Hopefully he gets matched up with someone who's a monster who will finish him, because that was just awful. Anyway, Pedro Munoz against Damian Stasiak. Now, in the John Gooden was saying that Stasiak's one of the top prospects. He isn't. Pedro Munoz, ranked number 12. He's an exciting prospect. He is an exciting prospect for this kind of bantamweight division. He went in there and put on a really solid performance. Stasiak earned his stripes, so was game to stand there, would counter back, would land his own strikes, was doing really well himself on his own part, but Munoz was landing just a few more strikes, was getting better shots, getting the better exchanges, and the grappling side of things. Both of them weren't able to get takedowns all the time because their defense on both parts was solid, but Munoz just showed a lot of his potential in that fight, and I still feel there's a lot more to open up out of him. He was previously with Kings MMA with Rafael Cordero, getting striking on point. Now he's with ATT, and that was only his first fight camp, so you don't take anything from a first fight camp with a fighter. Usually it takes 2 or 3 for them to get their flow and get the rhythm of what the team they're with, etc. So I expect to see a lot more from Munoz. He said he's ready, good to go anytime. And look, I will expect to see him on a fight card probably in the next, say, 2 to 3 months. On to the main card. The man himself, Jack Hermansson, he's a great entertainment guy. His smile is just infectious against Alex Nicholson, who, to be honest with you, he's a bit of a prick. No one really, I've got to be honest, not a big fan of his. Not a lot of people are. When he went to the weigh-ins, he was standing in front of Jack Hermansson saying, "I am Sparta," like an absolute plank. Jack Hermansson, he did everyone in the MMA community a favour. Put him away in 2 minutes. He got him down, got on top, got his back, spread him out, flattened him out, and was landing bombs, elbows, just pounding him away. Now, the referee stopped the fight. Nicholson was trying to debate it, but the problem is it was only going to get worse. There was nothing there to show signs it was going to get any better for Nicholson. And from a referee perspective, you've got to think about a fighter's health and longevity. You pull the fight, you stop it. Nicholson needs to accept it. He lost fair and square. Jack Hermansson, huge win. Great moment for him in the middleweight division. Now Jack Hermansson's going to get himself a good fight next time. Maybe potentially a ranked fighter. I don't know how they'll match him up next. But I'd like to see him maybe fight someone in the top from 10 to 15. We'll see how they go with that one. Next up was Taleb against Enkamp. Now, Nordine Taleb, I've never been like, wow, Taleb's fighting. he's a solid base fighter. You know, he is a solid fighter, to be fair, but nothing excites me about him. He fought a young newbie kid, signing short notice in Oliver Enkamp. I watched Enkamp's footage online, and there was a lot about Enkamp that I just saw was still not polished off yet. He's still young. He's only 25, but there was a lot in his game that I just felt he had holes in. And Taleb just showed experience and knowledge. You know, he was able just to pressure him, put him on his back foot, avoid the spinning kicks and the spinning moves that Enkamp tried to throw, which was a lot of Enkamp's game was like one-off shots, which wasn't enough. And he saw Taleb just picking away at him, getting on top of a takedown as well, and showed dominance, because he is with, you know, when he was with Faraz Zahavi, with getting a brown belt under, who's a legitimate grappler, it showed in that fight. And Taleb got the decision win. Wasn't his best performance, but to be fair, he was fighting a guy he wasn't too sure about. Not tons of footage, so had to be careful. Took his time and just slowly took the win. Now that's Enkamp's first loss. Not a big thing, but Taleb was just playing it safe, I think. Just getting the win out of the way and carry on to the next fight. You'll see Enkamp again, another shot, another stab again. You know, anyone who comes in short notice, the UFC are pretty good at giving him a full fight camp to come and prove themselves. Let's go to the next fight, which was exactly how you had seen it going, because there was only two ways. You had knockout, quick knockout, or it was going to be decision win. Akhmedov against Al Hassan, and Akhmedov got a decision win, and he did exactly what I said to a friend of mine on Twitter. We were, you know, a lot of people was discussing it. I said he will, if he gets him down, which I think he will, you're gonna see 3-round ball fest is the best way to put it, until the end of the third round when they started to exchange a lot more. But it was generally, you know, Akhmedov just getting the takedown, top position, Al Hassan just not able to get up. And, you know, everyone talk about him being Olympic level judoka. Judo have lapels on, grips, they don't touch the legs. So if someone shoots in for a double leg, in judo you don't prepare for that. It's not something you're used to. So it's very easy. I've trained with guys who do judo for like their kind of forte of martial art for years. So whenever we come to grappling, when it's just like, I say freestyle, but it's grappling takedowns. You know, you can do whatever kind of style you wish. If I ever go against a judoka, I'm never going to play up top with the arms, because as soon as they get you up there, that's when the hips come under. I like to shoot in low, get that takedown in that single, double leg, and pretty much you're going to land it every time. And it showed here of Hassan, he just wasn't able to stop those double legs, those power doubles and singles, and he just was flat on his back then. But then you go to Akhmedov. He needs himself to improve his grappling on the ground. Big ground and pound makes a big difference. He needs to show a bit more ground and pound to finish fights, because you're not going to get further in the game if all you're going to do is hold someone down, because there'll be someone there who can stop you from either getting you down, or if you get them down, getting up quickly enough. You know, they'll have the good defense to get up, or a very good submission game. So for both parties, there's a lot to take away from there. Even though it was a decision win for Akhmedov, for both of them, they can get a lot out of that. 15 minutes is invaluable, considering Al Hassan, all his fights combined only lasted like 6 minutes or something. So he's got more than double. You know, it's incredible. It's a good thing for him. Let's go to the next fight, which was Peter Sobotta against Ben Saunders. Sobotta's been quite impressive. Ben Saunders, he's like a yo-yo, depends on the style of fighter he gets. In this fight, Ben Saunders just never got off the mark. He was very tentative, wasn't really throwing anything. And Sobotta just went at him, caught him straight away off the start of the fight, and after that it was just non-stop, just kept on landing on him. Ben Saunders just was kind of, you could see he got rocked early on, and after that he was always catching up with himself and never got the chance to regain. Even on the minute between the rounds, it seemed like he just didn't get back in the fight. His head was gone, and Sobotta got the finish and absolutely starched him. Absolutely starched Ben Saunders. Beautiful finish from Sobotta. He says he feels like he potentially has broken his hand early in the second round. So credit to him for still carrying on and hitting hard with that hand. Just didn't care. Got the win. Ben Saunders, I would not be shocked if the UFC cut him just because of his overall record with the UFC. He's the kind of guy you just, I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't know where he is himself with the mindset. But yeah, we'll see. And even Chris Camozzi, I don't know, the two of them, I don't know where they are with their careers and their minds at the moment. We'll see where the pair of them end up in the future. Co-main event, which was ridiculously surprising. So you had Volkan Oezdemir against Misha Cirkunov. Now, Oezdemir, a lot of people I don't want to say complaining, but a lot of people were doubting Oezdemir's placement in the rankings because he came in short notice, beat OSP, so they put him straight away. Went, okay, well, you've beat OSP, he's ranked, fifth. You take his place, and logically that makes a lot of sense. People were saying that Cirkunov is, he's beaten X amount of numbers of guys in the UFC, but the thing was he actually never beat anyone of a rank of OSP or higher, so that was why he never got a higher ranking, which makes a lot of sense. So Oezdemir came in. A lot of people were hyping up Cirkunov to go in there. Possibly he was a favourite to go in there and win. Oezdemir got this. I'll rephrase it, sorry. Cirkunov came charging in with the combinations. Oezdemir got his back off to the cage, then circled away and threw like a right hand which hit. It looked somewhere around here, which is just behind the ear. You got equilibrium in your head, and if that hits you, knocks you on Queer Street. But it was the smallest little right hand. Like, it didn't even look like he didn't get any torque on his body. Just kind of like an arm punch, threw it around, clipped him behind the head, and Cirkunov just dropped and like a string, like cutting strings off a puppet, face plant down, out. It was insane to watch. Everyone was just like, "What just happened?" You had to watch the replay because you couldn't really see it. And Oezdemir got the win, and not even putting it down at all. Fantastic, he got the win. Awesome performance. Now he's kind of cemented himself in that fifth position. People could stop maybe having a go at him. He's now said, "Look," and now he gets a top guy in the top 5. And I don't know who they're going to match him up with. I've got a feeling who I might know who they'll match him up with, and it was the loser of the main event, which Alex Gustafsson against Glover Teixeira happened. And Glover lost the bout, and I think you might see Oezdemir against Glover maybe in a few months' time, or maybe 4 or 5 months' time, maybe, you don't know. Anyway, so Gustafsson put on a fantastic performance against Glover Teixeira. He got the finish in the final round after landing an horrendous amount of uppercuts on Glover. And at the end of it, he landed 3 uppercuts in a row and just put down and 3 uppercuts in a row, which put chicken legs on chicken dance onto Glover, and then he landed a right straight, put him down, and that was it. But before that, the 4 rounds before then, Glover is a powerful, dangerous man. Gus was very smart, kept him on the edge of his punches, just would do his usual, circle and run around to get back in the center of the octagon, reset. But that right uppercut was lightning fast. It was like a jab. It was ridiculous. Landed some great combinations. Dropped Glover a couple of times. He did eye poke him. I don't know how serious the eye poke was and affected Glover through the whole fight. But I don't know if it would have made too much of a greater difference overall. But Gus looked really good. Really good, people. Do I think they'll give him the winner of the DC John Jones? I don't know. Because Jimmy Manoff, Dana White said about Jimmy Manoff. I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea. But awesome performance from Gus. Honestly, people, it was a fun fight to watch. Absolutely tremendous fun to watch. I enjoyed it. I think if you were a fight fan in general, you really would have enjoyed watching that fight card. It had a lot of everything, really. And it's just, I think it kind of called people out, let's say. I think it surprised a lot of people. But overall, it surprised me, I tell you that much. But look at One Championship in Japan. Singapore, so they had their fight card on as well. And you had Ben Askren going on again to get another win with a finish. You had Andrea Lee get another win. These two fighters are kind of the face for this promotion, and Ben Askren is just unbeaten still. He's still that guy outside the UFC who's everyone's got a question like, how good is he? What's the potential we can get from Ben Askren? He had a bit of time off, but it happens. You had Invicta FC recently had a good card, a fight card on. A lot of decisions, but overall it was a very decent fight card on FC. You had Daly McDonald, where McDonald dominated. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the fight scene at the moment where in the future I see there's some great matchups. But that's kind of like a recap on UFC Stockholm. Let's put it that way. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and Gustafsson, proposed to his missus at the end. She said yes. It'd be awkward if she said no, but yeah, it was a good fight card, people. I just want to do a quick roundup. Peace out. Speak to you soon.